Welcome to the deep dive. Today, as part of the Urban Herald team, we're really cutting through the noise. We're exploring a topic that impacts countless families. The often unseen realities faced by mothers raising autistic children. You've probably encountered those, viral social media posts or news stories showcasing autistic prodigies or maybe hyper-focused superpowers. And while those stories are real, they really represent only a sliver of the actual experience. Our mission in this deep dive is to truly uncover the full picture, to challenge what our analysis from the Urban Herald calls the romanticized autism myth. We're here to validate the immense efforts and profound struggles so many mothers face, and, well, to offer both practical insights and a real sense of hope.
Yeah, and what's truly insightful about our source material for this deep dive, I think, is that it's deeply shaped by lived experience. It's actually penned by an autistic person themselves. So this perspective allows us to really dig into that stark contrast, between the romanticized image and the demanding day-to-day realities. We're going to explore the compelling evidence, the often heavy emotional toll, and perhaps most importantly, how we can all better understand and genuinely support these incredible families.
Okay, let's start by peeling back the curtain on that daily grind then. Our source vividly describes how securing early intervention hours for an autistic child isn't just a task. It often feels, well, like a second job for mothers. Can you truly paint a picture of the immense financial and logistical demands this entails?
Right. When we connect this to the bigger picture, the financial strain is simply, it's immense. Think about this. A single year of intensive ABA, that's applied behavior analysis, a common behavioral therapy averages USD 46,500.
46,000, wow.
Yeah. And then you add supplementary at-home sessions, speech, occupational, and physical therapy. That can be another USD 33,000 annually. And these aren't abstract numbers. They have profound consequences. Our analysis shows 79% of Irish families report autism, adding between 10K and 28K to their annual budget. And in China, direct non-medical costs can exceed USD 18,000 per child per year. It's a financial cliff, really. It explains why nearly 40% of parents plummet below the poverty line after a diagnosis.
Wow, that financial burden alone is just staggering. But beyond the money, what about the journey just to get a diagnosis? Our analysis highlights significant, often heartbreaking delays. What do the numbers tell us about those waiting periods?
This really shines a light on systemic barriers, doesn't it?
Right.
While national guidelines might suggest assessments within a time frame of 5 months.
Which sounds reasonable.
Exactly, but UK children, for example, wait an average of 433 days. 433, and some families are stuck on these lists for as long as 4 years.
4 years.
Yes, and these delays mean lost years of crucial early intervention. It turns what should be a window of opportunity into, well, a lost battle for many. We hear this echoed in stories like Sarah from Manchester, who shared, my son was nearly 8 before we got a formal diagnosis.
8 years old.
And by then, we'd lost years of crucial early intervention. It felt like a constant uphill battle just to be heard.
Just to be heard. That's powerful. And when it comes to respite, that much-needed break, the source suggests it's critically lacking, almost non-existent for so many.
It's absolutely devastating. Regular respite has been shown to literally halve parental stress, cut it in half.
That's huge.
It is. Yet only a shocking 11% of affected UK families receive consistent breaks, just 11%. In South Africa, half of mothers reported moderate caregiver burden, with 1/3 reporting severe strain. As Emily, a single mother from Arizona, powerfully put it, finding even an hour for herself feels impossible, and basic self-care. It just disappears. You can see how this leads straight to absolute exhaustion.
It sounds like this constant demand has a profound effect on mental and emotional health then. What does the evidence tell us about that toll?
Well, what's truly striking here is the sheer physiological impact. Long-term cortisol depletion, that's your body's primary stress hormone in mothers of autistic adolescents, mirrors what we see in combat soldiers.
Combat soldiers, seriously.
Seriously. Essentially, their bodies are in a constant state of high alert, exhausting vital systems, and raising risks of immune dysfunction and, chronic disease. And a 2024 meta-analysis even linked high disruptive behavior scores in children with a 3-fold increase in parental burnout risk.
3-fold. That physiological impact is staggering. It makes me wonder, beyond the internal toll, how does this constant demand affect their social lives? Is isolation a significant outward-facing factor?
Oh, it absolutely is. Imagine adding another 2 hours to your workday every single day, just for caregiving. That's a silent, exhausting reality for parents of autistic children, leading to a 3-fold increase in social exhaustion.
3 times as likely to feel socially exhausted.
Yeah. And avoiding social gatherings, maybe because of sensory overload for the child or even fear of judgment from others, it just accelerates this isolation. It further erodes mental health. Maria, a mother from Texas, shared a really poignant example. She said, "We stopped going to family gatherings because the sensory overload was too much for my daughter, and the judgment from relatives was just heartbreaking."
Heartbreaking is the right word. And the source touches on such complex feelings, too, like grief and anxiety. How do those manifest for these mothers?
Well, receiving a diagnosis, it can trigger complicated grief for an imagined future,
Mhm.
a sort of mourning for the path they thought their family might take.
Right.
And acceptance, for many, it's often cyclical. It's not a one-and-done thing. Layered on top of this is pervasive anxiety about what comes next.
The future.
Exactly.
Right.
Adult services, employment prospects for their children, and who will advocate for them once parents age. This truly highlights the urgent need for better long-term societal support systems.
And how do these profound demands, these emotional and mental tolls, reverberate through the core of the family, particularly within relationships?
It takes a toll there, too.
Yeah.
Our analysis shows that up to 75% of couples report reduced marital satisfaction post-diagnosis.
3/4.
Yeah, largely driven by chronic sleep deprivation and that relentless financial tension we talked about. It really underscores why proactive counseling and truly balanced caregiving duties are critical, yet these resources remain significantly underfunded, often inaccessible.
We've discussed the broad strokes of financial strain and emotional toll. Now let's zoom in, really dig into those unspoken everyday realities, the things that truly challenge these families within the privacy of their own homes. What are some of those sensory challenges that most people might not even consider?
Okay, well, imagine living in a world where everyday sounds are amplified to painful levels. A child hypersensitive to sound might bolt when a blender whirs or scream at a toilet flush.
Just normal household sounds?
Exactly, things you don't even think about. It can make shared meal times near impossible. Families often find themselves kind of tiptoeing around daily tasks, leading to fragmented routines and sometimes even nutritional compromises just to keep the peace.
And communication barriers must add an almost unimaginable layer of stress.
We do, significantly.
Yeah.
Roughly 30% of autistic children remain minimally verbal by school age.
30%.
Yeah, placing the immense burden of interpreting needs, hunger, pain, comfort, heavily on parents. This constant high-stakes guesswork fuels incredible stress and can often lead to public meltdowns, which unfortunately just amplifies stigma.
And these behavioral storms, as you call them, both in public and private, they must be incredibly difficult to navigate.
They really are. Irritability and hyperactivity are, in fact, the strongest predictors of objective caregiver strain. Meltdowns in public spaces, as you can imagine, often invite judgment and, well, forced exits from stores or parks,
Yeah.
which ultimately shrinks a family's social world even further. Chloe from Sydney shared a particularly hard moment.
Quote, I once had to leave a grocery store because my son started screaming due to the fluorescent lights and a woman openly mocked him.
Oh, that's awful.
It makes you just want to stay home, and many do.
We touched on the financial burden earlier, but how does it specifically manifest in terms of work and overall household stability? As it sounds like it goes beyond just therapy expenses.
It absolutely does. It's not just about paying for services. Parent resignations or reductions to part-time work are remarkably common. Someone often has to scale back or quit. This results in an average household income drop of 14–30%.
14 to 30% lower income.
Right, and what's truly alarming is that bankruptcy rates among these families run almost double their peers.
Double.
It's not just a budget squeeze, it's a profound economic disruption for so many.
Yet, despite all these struggles, this immense unseen burden, our analysis highlights the truly incredible resilience and, well, fierce love of these mothers. What does that look like? It's truly remarkable. Despite the immense toll, 90% of mothers say their relationship with their child is the central source of meaning in their lives.
90%.
Yeah. They transform. They become de facto case managers, tireless advocates, self-taught therapists. They develop skills most never imagined owning. Their determination is just unwavering.
So given everything we've discussed, what does this all mean for how society should really perceive and support these families? It feels like we need a paradigm shift, doesn't it?
We absolutely do. This really challenges us, I think, to look beyond those viral autistic genius clips you mentioned earlier. We need to truly recognize the full breadth of profiles, including those individuals who may never speak or live independently, Comment sections online that idolize savant abilities, well, they inadvertently silence the majority. They create a misleading narrative.
That's a really important point. This brings us to a really powerful part of our deep dive. The source isn't just about identifying problems. It also lays out a clear, actionable call for policymakers and the public. What does that call to action entail?
The message is clear. Policymakers should redirect funds, focus them toward early diagnosis hubs, subsidized respite care, and truly inclusive schooling. The evidence is compelling. Every £1 invested in intensive early intervention saves £1.50 in later social care costs. It's actually cost-effective.
That makes financial sense, too.
Exactly. And it is also crucial to normalize the struggle. As the source states, it is not weakness when a mother says, "I am tired."
Yeah.
It is data. Think about this. 77% of mothers screen positive for significant psychological distress. 77%.
The high.
Yes. Acknowledging this reality is the vital first step towards collective, systemic solutions, not just individual coping.
Okay, so for any of you listening and navigating these challenges right now, our analysis provides concrete guidance on finding support. Can you walk us through some of the key national organizations that can offer a lifeline?
Sure, these organizations offer a wealth of information, advocacy, and connections. They're really valuable. In the USA, you have Autism Speaks and the Autism Society. For the UK, there's the National Autistic Society. In Canada, Autism Canada. In Australia, Autism Awareness Australia. And in Ireland, ACAN-YAM. They're all excellent starting points for resources and information.
What about the power of online communities for mothers to connect and share? Sometimes that's more accessible.
Absolutely. Online spaces can be incredibly vital, especially late at night or when leaving the house is hard. Facebook groups like Autism Mom Support and subreddits such as Autism Parenting offer safe spaces for sharing experiences and practical advice. Mumsnet in the UK also has very popular autism forums where you can find a real sense of community, people who just get it.
And for those who prefer more personal connections, what about local groups?
Local parent-led support groups can truly be invaluable, that face-to-face connection. Jessica from Ontario, Canada, shared how her local group saved her sanity. She said, "Just knowing I wasn't alone and getting tips on navigating the school system was invaluable."
Yeah, that local knowledge can be key.
Definitely. Your child's therapists or school staff are often excellent sources for recommendations in your specific area.
Finally, and critically, prioritizing mental health. What specific resources are available there for caregivers? Because the toll is immense.
It really is. Many community mental health centers offer free or low-cost counseling specifically tailored for caregivers. Helplines like the SAMHSA National Helpline in the U.S., that's 1-800-662-TEX-ELP, or Mind in the UK, 0300 0012 33393, provide crucial immediate support. Don't hesitate to reach out. That support is there.
Beyond external support, our analysis offers practical, daily strategies for self-care. Small things that can make a real difference. What should listeners prioritize in their daily lives?
Right. The daily self-care checklist, as highlighted in our sources, includes prioritizing sleep. Even if it's fragmented, just prioritizing rest when possible.
Easier said than done sometimes, I imagine.
Oh, absolutely. But crucial. Also, incorporating short bursts of physical activity. Maybe just a 15-minute walk, getting outside. Focusing on nutrition as much as possible. Practicing mindful moments, even just a minute of deep breathing or listening to calming music. Apps like Calm or Headspace can help there.
Okay.
And critically, scheduling short breaks, even tiny ones, and intentionally connecting with supportive friends or family. Even a quick text exchange can help.
What about more evidence-based coping mechanisms for that deep fatigue of burnout and anxiety beyond the daily checklist?
Yeah, professional counseling, using approaches like CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, or ACT, acceptance and commitment therapy, can be very beneficial. Utilizing respite care whenever and however possible. Taking those breaks when they offered or available.
Don't feel guilty about taking it.
Exactly. Mindfulness and meditation practices truly help regulate emotions, building that internal resilience. And as we discussed, support groups are essential to reduce that isolation. Finding your tribe. It's also vital to set boundaries and learn to say no, protect your energy. And active advocacy and empowerment, fighting for your child, can actually provide a crucial sense of control amidst the chaos.
Are there any specific apps, books, or podcasts that you'd recommend based on the source material for those seeking more information or maybe just some comfort?
Absolutely. For apps, Headspace and Insight Timer are excellent for meditation, as mentioned. And Streaks can help with building small, positive habits. Books like The Reason I Jump by Naoki Higashida offer profound insights into understanding the autistic experience from the inside. Highly recommended. Also, Uniquely Human by Barry M. Pruzant and the new Social Storybook by Carol Gray provide really practical guidance.
Okay, good recommendations.
And for podcasts, shows like Autism Families Ireland and the Spectrum Mamas podcast are good places to start for hearing shared experiences.
It's clear these challenges are widespread, but our analysis points out they're not monolithic, right? Things aren't the same for everyone. How do factors like race, socioeconomic status, and even location intersect with these struggles, making them even more complex?
This is such a critical point. The experience isn't uniform at all. Racial disparities mean children from minority groups often receive diagnoses significantly later than white children. Black children, for instance, are diagnosed an average of 1.3 years later in some U.S. regions, and Hispanic children 0.8 years later.
Over a year later.
Yeah, and that delay directly leads to delayed access to crucial early intervention, which we know is so important. It exacerbates their challenges right from the start. Socioeconomic status profoundly impacts families too, magnifying financial burdens and severely limiting access to high-quality care. That 14–30% average household income drop we talked about, it's devastating for low-income families, pushing nearly 40% below the poverty line.
Just pushes them over the edge.
Completely. And rural families often face a severe scarcity of specialists and services. They might have to travel hours for appointments,
Right.
which not only exacerbates costs but also intensifies the strain. It's another layer of difficulty.
And how do these profound challenges impact siblings and the broader family unit? It's not just the mother and the autistic child in isolation, is it?
No, it truly isn't. The whole family system is affected. Siblings may experience a whole range of emotions, sometimes resentment, maybe increased caregiving responsibility, or even anxiety about their siblings' future. They can face social challenges too, explaining things to friends.
That makes sense.
However, it's also true that many siblings develop remarkable empathy, resilience, and a deep sense of compassion through the experience. Educating extended family grandparents, aunts, uncles about autism is absolutely crucial for fostering a truly supportive environment for everyone.
And what about the unique and often intensified challenges for single mothers? Or those with already limited financial means?
Oh, the caregiving burden is dramatically intensified for single mothers. They lack a co-parent for shared responsibilities, for financial backup, or even just for emotional support.
Doing it all alone.
Exactly. This often leads to significantly higher risks of burnout and profound isolation. And for families already struggling financially, the high costs of therapies and lost work hours can be catastrophic. It can push them deep into debt and even bankruptcy, as we saw with the statistics earlier.
This all brings us to a crucial question then. What can you, our listener, do to advocate for better services, funding, and just a deeper understanding of these realities?
Your voice really matters. Contacting elected officials, your local representatives, MPs, senators to share stories and advocate for increased funding for autism research and early intervention is critical.
Make it personal for them.
Yes. Supporting autism organizations through their advocacy campaigns can create a powerful collective voice. There's strength in numbers. And sharing one's own story responsibly, maybe with trusted platforms or community groups, helps to genuinely educate the public and challenge those harmful misconceptions.
Beyond policy, what are some tangible ways the public can actively support autism families in their own communities, day to day?
Small acts can make a huge difference, really. Volunteering your time, maybe offering to babysit to give parents some respite, even just for an hour or two, or volunteering at local charities that support these families. Financial donations to research and support services are always crucial, of course, but also just spreading awareness and understanding, challenging misconceptions when you hear them.
Calling it out.
Yeah, and offering practical help, like running errands, bringing over a meal, simple things that can provide invaluable relief. And critically, supporting and championing inclusive spaces, schools, workplaces, community centers that are genuinely welcoming to autistic individuals and their families. That's key.
We've truly taken a deep dive today here on The Deep Dive into the profound, often unseen realities faced by mothers of autistic children. It's undeniably clear that the gap between that romanticized image of autism and the daily struggles is vast and often invisible.
Indeed. Behind every viral, hyper-focused headline are countless nights spent on A&E floors, emergency room visits, towering stacks of insurer paperwork, meals eaten in shifts. Yet these women persist. They are fueled by an incredibly fierce love and an unwavering determination that their children will find a place in a world that is not yet truly designed for them.
So, what does this all mean for you listening? To every mother out there navigating therapy marathons, sensory landmines, public misconceptions, your struggle is seen, your resilience is remarkable, and your story is absolutely indispensable to the broader autism narrative. You are not alone.
And our analysis today really highlights that societal understanding and support, they aren't just about individual acts of kindness, though those matter. It's about fundamental systemic change. This leaves us with an important question for you to consider. How can you contribute to building a world that truly accommodates and celebrates all forms of neurodiversity? A world that ensures that love and resilience are met with unwavering, accessible support, not just isolated acts of compassion. We encourage you to reflect on this. Think about what small step you could take.
We hope this deep dive from the Urban Herald has provided you with clarity, maybe some new insights, and perhaps a fresh perspective to carry forward. Thank you for joining us.